Hi everyone and welcome back to the School of Light and another image breakdown. This is a series I'm putting together where I'm reaching out to light painters across the world who either inspire me, create work that I think you should be seeing and will inspire you to be a more creative light painter. People whose images just blow me away. And on the other side of the screen is Vincent from France. Hi, Vincent.
Hi, how are you?
Now, people will, as with all of these, all the way through this recording, I'm going to be smashing you with photographs and locations for you to go and see Vincent's work. Online, he's 20 Cent, light painting. He has a fantastic website as well, which I highly recommend anyone to do. It's not hard. Well, I say it's not hard, but it's difficult, but it's important, I think. But as with all of these, I just want to introduce you to this man a little bit. In relative terms, he's quite new to light painting. 2017 is when he got into it. But I remember when you hit the light painting scene, Vincent, because your work just blew me away. And it's like every single time that I'm on social media and one of your images comes across my feed, I pause and I look, but most importantly, I know it's your image, right? Because the technique, so I'll pop one of the images we're going to talk about up on the screen now for people to look at. And this technique, fiber optic portraiture, is something that has been around for a while. I've had a little bit of a crack at it, not very well, but you know, it's a stunning form of portraiture. But I'm confident in saying that there is something really special about what Vincent does. And I think, he may correct me, but I think what it is that this has kind of become your main form of light painting, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like
my main tool, my main format.
Yeah, and I reckon there's something really magical about that, because there is something, you know, people who get into light painting and they're trying all the different techniques and orbs and blades and this and that, and they sort of mishmash around. But before we get into these images, mate, I think what it is, I think this is the thing that I love, and I've said this to you before. If we go back 3 years and look at your fiber optic portraiture, and I mapped them all out, and then we got up to where the mad images you're creating now, there is this really amazing progression. Like it's never sort of leveled off, or like it's just getting better and better and better and better, to the point now where I think, you know, we'll talk about inspiration, but yeah, I think anyone that's keen to do any portraiture at all, you will be well served to spend some time with this gentleman. So there's an introduction.
Nice introduction.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So let's have a bit of a think about what we're going to do. Normally in these image breakdowns, we take an image and we look at it in some detail. What we're going to do here is a little different. He'll tell us where and when, but I saw a set of images that you created, and you do this quite regularly, where you've clearly set up you've got a model, you've gone into the studio or somewhere, and you've created a set of images with someone. And that's what these images here that we're going to be looking through and talking about has done. So I could have banged on about you for hours, mate, to be honest, but what I would really love, let's do this in 2 phases. I'm keen to hear a little bit from you, mate, how you're always working with people.
Yeah.
And I'm keen to understand, first of all, tell us a little bit about your inspiration. You're relatively new. A short bit about how you got into light painting, what attracted you to fiber optic portraits. Then I'd love to hear from you a bit about how you managed to get these amazing images with the models, because there is this connection with them, and I'm keen to understand how you manage that. And then we'll talk a bit about technique. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Vincent in France.
Hi, everyone. First, I discovered light painting a few years ago, thanks to a friend, just by using colored light for the ground, the world, everywhere. And this blows me up, and I decided to know, is it possible with people? And I started with just a torch like this, and with lasers. And one day I just saw a picture of Gunnar Heilmann from Berlin, and it blows me up. I was thinking, wow, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I just saw the hashtag on Instagram, and I discovered this tool, which is the black fiber brush.
Yeah.
And I started to experiment it following his tutorial. So basically, I'm doing the same thing than him by creating my own colored mixed. I have tons of this.
Beautiful.
And this is how I started. At the beginning, I was doing this with my friends, and when I did this with all of my friends, I decided to open my work to models. And right now, my process is to have a long conversation with models to know more about themselves, what they like, if they want to have bright picture of dark one, with cold or warm colors. What kind of techniques do you have? Some things that you don't like in your body. So sometimes it's ears or nose. So you can bring light somewhere and put the remaining part in the dark and just highlight the feeling or the thing that the people like.
Yeah.
So this is really, really important. I think I spend more time discussing than shooting.
That is such a it's so important, isn't it? It's so important having that connection for you and your model to have a connection. And it's almost like the camera and the light painting tools aren't there. There's just a connection.
Yeah. And yesterday night I was watching your video with Tom Hill, and there is something that makes me fun about how he works, because we are, I think, completely at the opposite, but thinking using the same way. He said something about how he experienced light painting, and he said that he was some kind of doing yoga, because he very smooth. But for me it's quite different, because I'm doing light painting with people. And human beings are not perfect. We are moving, and we are moving a lot. So if I want to have a sharp image with a good resolution, I need to think about how I can do my light painting without going 2 times on the same surface. So usually I redo the face only once and the body only once too, and I'm doing it very fast. So for Tom Hill is yoga. For me, it's like dancing. I have a lot of music and I'm moving around the models, and it's like I'm dancing every time. So this makes me fun yesterday night about this.
Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Do you, when you have, so thinking about this particular set of images that we're talking about, this is, now, is this one model or two?
Only one.
Yeah. So she's obviously brought some clothes and bits and pieces with her. She's put some makeup on at one stage, I see. And a wig and bits and pieces.
With her, I like to create something very deep, very constructive. And for this, I call some makeup artists to help me to bring something like is close to a studio photo, but using light painting. And in the set of pictures that I sent to you, we were not aware of what kind of colors do we like to do.
Yep.
So I just tell her, just take, I don't know, tens of them.
Yep.
And during the session, we were in the dark,
Yep.
and I just took one color,
Yep.
I put in my tools,
Yep.
and I brush without knowing what kind of colors, without knowing what kind of pose that she had to.
Yes.
And sometimes I like to do it without knowing anything, and it's just right now you have to do it. And so we decided to change every colors every time.
Yeah, beautiful, amazing.
So it's like a rainbow of light painting in one session.
It's crazy, and I love. So a question about color I have for you. So when you were showing us your little discs that you put into the brush, do you, when you're thinking about color combinations, is there any science? Is there any color? So do you use complementary colors or just things that feel right for you? Or do you, how deep do you think about that?
At the beginning, I did all the mistakes that you can do. I made the bad colors, and I went to Jake Hicks photography website. He's a very good photographer, studio photographer, using a lot of colors, and he has a lot of tutorials regarding the colors that you can mix together and the one you should not. So I took his advice to make them in my work. But I have all of my colors like this.
Yes.
And I just cut them and mix them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends.
Totally. There's so many different ways to look at it. And I suppose when you're sitting down in that initial meeting with your model and you're talking to them and getting a feel, you would get a feeling for what it is. Some people, so many of your portraits are just using a white light or just a single color. Simplicity, there's often, and then you're obviously using gels on flashes to do the background and the foreground. And it's, so there, so you're using a light painting brushes fiber optic.
Yeah.
Do you have more than one around? Do you have one or two set up, or?
Yeah, I have two set up. This comes from light painting brushes. So this is the conventional one, and I modified another one after a joke with some friends that was telling that my name is 20 Cent. And I decided to remove 80% of the brushes. So
it looks like a rat's tail.
Yeah, I have one with a less fiber here. For this one, I'm using it when I need to do a huge hold the body. And when it's just for the face, I'm using it because I have more details, less messed up of light.
It makes so much sense. Well, more control, You have more control.
Yeah, and
more
regarding
the light is going.
Regarding the control, I've been watching your video when you mentioned me, and I am brushing in the opposite way of you. For example, you start from the top, and you go like this. The problem when I'm doing this is I do not control the fibers. And for me, I'm doing from this to the top.
Way. Much more control.
Yeah, gravity helps me. And the other point is that human beings have reflexes. And for example, if you touch the eyes, you have 90% chances of blinking the eyes of the model. So thanks to the arcade here, you can go to this without making the people blink, for
That is
example.
amazing.
And this is more natural, I think, because the sunlight comes from the top. So
Yes.
if I light from the top, I don't think it's
Yeah. No,
daylight.
I
So
get it. Yeah. Totally.
but yeah,
So it
usually,
feels more natural, right? Because
yeah, yeah,
if you hold a torch like, you know, this way, that's how we move. That's how we make like
yeah,
a ghost.
exactly.
Yeah, when we're doing a ghost.
So this is what I do when I want to know where we want to go for this session as an artistic point of view. Do you want to make feel natural or horrific, for example?
Yeah,
So
totally.
you always have to study where is the good shape,
Yep.
where is the perfect angle for
Yes.
the models, and what is good for your image.
I think one of the something else I notice all the time with your work is you manage to really you bring out shape so beautifully. So it's not with a brush. If I just whooshed over my face, there's a difference between just move, but then also moving it in the right place to get the shape right. And
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think about something with you do quite a bit of nude light painting.
Yeah.
And it always feels so, I'm tempted to use the word classy, but it feels a bit tacky. You treat the body with so much respect. I look at the images and you've clearly, again, to be able to photograph a nude, whether it's a man or a woman, your model has to be so comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I explained to all the person that I'm shooting, is that I'm not doing nude at the first session. I need to have a good relationship with the person,
Yeah.
and usually it's never a problem because I have good contact and feeling with people usually.
Oh,
And what I like with nude is you don't have any contrast
yes.
from the colors of your clothes
Yeah.
and the body. So the light remains the same. So you don't have some kind of interference in your picture.
Yes.
And the thing is, from men or women, the shapes are not the same. Usually, men want to bring muscles, for example.
Yeah.
And I just need to put my brush completely vertical
To give
to highlight.
reflection. Yeah. To
Yeah,
give
yeah,
reflection and shape.
yeah. And this brings shadows on the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And like this, I can create the contrast that I like.
Yeah.
Usually with girls is more like an 8 shape.
Yep.
So if I want to bring this, I just need to brush like this
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah. Because it's
So
less contrast and more contour.
yeah.
Yeah, mate. It's the idea of these is to keep them nice and short. I could the thing with your portraiture, the thing with your light painting is I've been looking through your Instagram feed while we've been chatting, and I could randomly just pick out an image and we could sit and talk about it for an hour, every single one.
Maybe
If you
next
could,
time.
if you could, so anyone wanting to get into this type of photography, portraiture with light painting, do you have a tip or some advice for people to think about?
If you want to do portraiture, I think the first thing you have to do is respect. You have to respect the person that you have in front of you,
Yeah.
and listen, because their feelings are more important than your results.
Yes.
You are nothing without them. So yeah,
Yeah. It's
sometimes
so important.
sometimes I prefer meeting people than making photos.
Yeah.
It's just like this. So listen, be kind, uh, and respect. If the people don't want to be touched by the light,
Yeah.
that's okay. Do something around.
Yeah. Amazing.
You have
because it's about them. Yeah.
yeah.
The second that it's about you, you lose that connection. And a photograph, a portrait with no connection is not a portrait.
Yeah, and if you spend 1 hour uncomfortable, it's not good, even for you.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Well, mate, we could chat all night. Look, people, if you're watching this and you are an experienced light painter, you will enjoy looking at Vincent's work. I've been light painting for a long time, and I ache to see what you're doing next. I love it so much. And if you're a newbie to light painting, Vincent is a perfect example how with just a fiber optic brush, a flashlight, some gels, and maybe a strobe, you can create absolute utter magic. Less is more sometimes, eh, mate? Less is more sometimes. So thank you so much for stopping by, Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will be pointing people towards your beautiful website, your social media. And for everyone who stopped by to watch, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this visit to the School of Light and hanging out with our man Vincent in the lovely, by the hills. Apparently out that window, you can see the mountains. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, it's a very sunny day, so it's not possible today, but yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks everyone for coming along. Thank you so much, Vincent. I appreciate it immensely. Thanks, everyone.
Really appreciate it.